I've got my coffee. Let's talk about Springfield, Ohio. So I live just south of town. I've lived here for 4 years, and I want to start by saying that this is not a political post. I don't have political affiliations. If you want to comment political bullshit, I will just delete you, so please save us both the time. I am just speaking as someone who lives here, has small business friends, has realtor friends, has teacher friends that are offering their perspective, and also, my own eyeballs and what I see as I'm driving through this city. So I just want to start by saying that Springfield has been voted like one of the worst cities to live in the country for like forever. So it was already bad here. I'm not trying to take away from what's really going on. I'm just trying to say, like, ever since manufacturing left, everyone essentially left, and it just hasn't been a great place to live. So they've been doing a lot to revitalize the city, but it just takes a lot of time. So when Springfield was declared a safe haven, it had a populace of like 60,000 people, and within the last 2 years there's been anywhere from 15 to 20,000 immigrants that have been taken here, traveled here, however they got here.
That's the part I'm trying to figure out. How are these people getting here? How are they getting? Because like if you tell me, okay, well they settled in Texas, or they went over to Chicago, or they decided to go to New York, or something like that, Arizona, because Arizona, all of that stuff makes sense. Arizona is a border town. Texas, obviously, ditto. Coming up straight through Florida, okay, makes sense. But I was reporting when Haiti was completely I mean, it still is, but when we first started reporting on it here on the United States of America, and I started covering it on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I was reporting on what was going on over in Haiti, and that, assassination, taken over by barbecue, people's bodies getting thrown in the street, that Florida was the one that was basically fortifying its borders and making sure that the people that came into their town or the people that came into that state was going to be protected and all of that, so on and so forth, because we had to have legal migration, not illegal immigrants coming over here and doing what they wanted to do, fix your own place where you come from. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? We pick and choose when it's convenient, and it's obviously an agenda because over 20 million, estimated over 21 million people that we know of has come across the border. So if you then say, okay, Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, that makes sense. Chicago, Houston, New York, so on and so forth, Denver, they've designated themselves as sanctuary cities. That also makes sense. So then, okay, well, y'all can take y'all little space over there. We're not going to go and continue to strain states' resources or city resources in these border towns. And since y'all don't want to stand with us, then we're going to separate, and we're going to make sure that y'all feel the pain also of what we've been dealing with over here in Texas for a long time. Springfield, Ohio. Now, Springfield, Illinois, because it's probably like 3 or 4 Springfields in every state. And I was talking about this on the Millionaire Morning Show, and they said, well, Springfield is the place that they were showing on The Simpsons. But it was Springfield, Illinois. But again, how do you pick as a migrant? Springfield, Ohio, this is where we're going to settle. This is where we're going to take care of business. This is where we're about to get it in. That's my biggest question. How do you just have 20,000 people just get up there? How did they get up there? Why did they select it? Is anybody having a conversation? I'm curious about that. That's the part that I'm really, really curious about. Let me continue.
And just that in itself, in that size city, simply cannot handle that influx in residents. The system is overwhelmed. And when you see that happening, all these other systems start crumbling, starting with the school systems. So the school systems had the highest enrollment this year of immigrant children, most of which who do not speak English. So that's very taxing on the school systems. In addition to that, I just want to say I have not seen any reports of cats and dogs being eaten. However, there have been reports of duck and geese, mainly from Snyder Park, which is one of the main cities in the park. Take that how you want. That's just what I've heard and what I've seen locally. In addition to that, you've got realtors who can't sell their clients' homes because people are trying to flee the city and no one wants to live there. So they're either not selling or they're selling them at a loss just to leave. You've got small business owners who are suffering because no one wants to visit the city and support them because of everything going on. You've got B&Bs and Job and Family Services with the lines out the door. They're giving these immigrants driver's licenses. There's an influx, not just
Crazy.
in crime, but in accidents. And the police are not arresting them either because they can't understand them or because the jail system is already so overrun because it's such a high crime city to begin with. So more.
So it's easier to take over. When you go into a city that don't have resources, that's suffering, and then it's easy to take over. Ohio governor is saying, oh yeah, we want you here. Not legally, but we want you here. Don't know how y'all got here. Now he begging for the federal government to give him resources, which then affects your tax dollars. And a city that was already strained, it's now a trickle up effect because everything is affected. Jails, police, hospitals, roads, driver's license because too many accidents. Uh, Businesses is saying that, listen, don't nobody want to visit here anymore because of the reputation that we got, because of what's happening. We already had high crime. We already was trying to adjust because of what was happening in manufacturing, even though the Biden administration and Kamala Harris is saying that they got all of these jobs and they saved manufacturing. We see what really happened over the last 3.5 years under their administration. But then now you got this influx of people that is absolutely taking up every single resource that was designated for the residents that automatically paid taxes and property taxes, and values are continuing to plummet. But yet they want to sit here and tell us, oh no, it's not a big deal. This is happening in real time. No, Springfield, from a person that is reasonable. I selected out of all of the emails that I got, the most reasonable person that doesn't have or even proclaims to have any party affiliation to break down and explain to us exactly what is happening in Springfield, Ohio. And this is what's happening. It's really happening. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, Springfield is not a thing. It's a hoax. No, it's real. It's real. And it's a lot of people that y'all sent me videos of that was like, hey, man, it's bad out here and it's getting worse. It's bad out here and it's getting worse.
Accidents, more crime. People are literally scared to leave their houses. There's been, just a lot of incidences. Whether or not they're tied together, there's just been more crime. In addition to that, you've got the pantry is basically wiped out. So they're going in there, they're taking food. There's been reports of them going into the gas stations and grocery stores and opening bags and then just leaving them.
Crazy.
And then probably one of the worst things too is that landlords are intentionally evicting or kicking out long-term tenants because these immigrants are willing to pay a much higher rate because however they're getting money, either through government benefits, working under the
How are they getting money? How are they getting money? I don't understand. And I'm going to be real with y'all. I don't like to say this part. I'm going to be real with y'all. It's spreading out everywhere. Honest to God. But I get there in a minute. Let's continue.
Table, and then they're squeezing 8 to 10 of them into one tiny little apartment, and the landlords are capitalizing on this situation and kicking out people who can't afford to pay that premium, and they're becoming homeless. So there are a lot of systems that are being neglected and overrun. The hospital systems are also being overrun. There's reports of people not being able to get care that they need because there's just so many people going there to get care. So there is unfortunately
they're taking advantage of your healthcare system too. Nice.
been no systems in place to support this. So what you're seeing is just the city is falling apart. And however you feel politically on it, I'm just speaking matter of fact. So take that as you want from someone who lives here, sees it, knows people who live here, drives through it every day, and that's just what really happens. Just like New York City, like things, they just can't handle it. And what do we do about it? I don't know. I don't have the fucking answers for it. I'm just trying to show people a perspective of reality instead of all of this division and hate that is coming from the media.
Thank you for informing us. I always like to link back to the content creator in order to give them credit, whether I agree with them or not. So that link will be down in the description. Also, make sure y'all tap into Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. And then also Patreon. Great, phenomenal. You already know, rave reviews, the biggest Patreon that's out there, and we're going to continue to run it up. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I can't wait to read y'all comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.